Either or choices are done when you are in an argument and you're trying to simplify it by only presenting two options to the person. It's effective because they only make it seem like it's either this option or the other option presented, when in actuality there are more choices than just the two presented. It's done by someone trying to persuade another that there are only the options that are presented and that nothing else can possibly be a choice, even though with it there could be no choice. Another way to put it, it's false dilemma. It's a way that's saying that it's more options. There's a gray area that is not being presented, so it's going on false terms, which makes it a fallacy because they're well-intentioned strategies to get something accomplished. They reduce a complicated issue into excessively simple terms when they're designed to obscure legitimate alternatives. First example says, because of today's modern society, you either go to college and get a degree, or you end up working at McDonald's for the rest of your life. This is a logical fallacy because it's not an either-or choice. There are more options available for these two situations than what's being presented. Just because you get a degree does not mean you don't end up working at McDonald's, and just because you're at McDonald's does not mean you don't have a degree. These are fallacies because someone's trying to present that there are only two options here when there's could be even more than that are being presented. So this is the first example of a logical fallacy that's trying to make you choose between success and failure when there's obviously middle ground for having success or failure in other ways. In our second example, it says there are only two kinds of people in the city: law-abiding citizens and ruthless criminals. Now, this is untrue also because there are some people who are not law-abiding, but that doesn't make them a ruthless criminal. Some people feel that there are minor charges and there are extreme charges, comparing shoplifting to murder and comparing picking up a piece of trash on the highway or going to vote. All these things can be considered in the mix of being a law-abiding citizen or being a ruthless criminal. It's just that the over-exaggeration that's put on this makes it a fallacy because it doesn't have to be either this or either that. There are some people who were convicted of something, but they're the most upstanding people in the community now, or someone who was the most upstanding person in the community who becomes a ruthless criminal. So you can never just put it into two categories when it comes to describing people. That's a very good example on either or fallacies because there's not just two kinds of people ever. There are billions of people. Everyone's unique in their own way, and this either or fallacy makes it not so. So that is number 2. This is an example taken from an advertising commercial for Kia Soul that uses the song This or That with hamsters singing and dancing to it. And in the commercial, they compare the car to random cars on the street, and they compare themselves to other hamsters. And they do an either or fallacy by comparing them to one other option when there are other options. There's not just the Kia Soul and the random car in the street. There are Chevys, there are Hondas, there are Mercedes available. The Kia Soul is not the only product you can get. It is not this or that, and it's not best or worst. The Kia Soul is not the best, and if it is, it's a matter of opinion. So this is a logical fallacy simply because it is using one thing compared to another when there are millions of other options. So in conclusion, an either-or fallacy must be able to demonstrate that at least one or more relevant and meaningful choice is available. If there is no other choice available, that just makes it an either-or solution or question or problem. There is such things of themes not demonstrating more than just two options, just like the picture below. It's either the left hand or the right hand. There is no third arm, and there's no other people around. So what you see is what you get in this picture. The fallacy is when what you see isn't just what you get. And that is how you tell apart a fallacy from the actuality.